This sad story happened in 2007, in the summer, in Kashira, in the Moscow region. I myself come from Tula, and my school friend Slavka lived in Kashira. He and I were also diggers, and just lovers of exploring abandoned buildings. We saw each other mainly because of a common interest. And then one day, at about noon, there was a call from Slavka. "Hello, Anton, I think I've found a new place for research." "Hi, Slava. Really? And what kind of place is this?" "An unfinished hospital. Everything is included. Here you have a basement that leads directly to the morgue, and a legend about a werewolf. In general, there is something to profit from. By the way, there is no point in going to the morgue, because it was completed and it works quite well." "Do you know the reason for stopping the construction of the hospital?" "They say the financing was bad, so the workers rebelled, and even more so it was built unsuccessfully, on a small hillock, and soon it is likely to collapse." "Interesting. So, are you coming?" "I'm on my way." The distance from Tula to Kashira is small, only 99 kilometers, and within an hour I was there. By the way, I got there by car on the M4 highway. Slavka met me properly. We drank a glass for the meeting, had a snack, discussed pressing problems, and began to get ready for the road. From a conversation with Slava, I learned that he is now working as an opera, and that he will soon have a son. He said they will call him Antashka. It got dark. We set off. They took with them only the most necessary things: a flashlight, some food supplies, and Slavka took a trauma kit. They came to the place. It is worth telling a little about the appearance of the hospital and the surrounding area. The picture is not colorful, so to speak. The hospital stands in the middle of a field. There is not a single high-rise building around for half a kilometer, and in general there is no living space. There is nothing at all. The only inhabited place is the morgue. The hospital itself was 2 stories high, and looked extremely intimidating in the moonlight. We walked around the perimeter of the hospital. Along the way we met 3 entrances, 1 main and 2 spare. The hospital had 2 wings. With the help of a flashlight, we saw that there is an exit to the roof from the 2nd floor. We also noticed a strange flashing light in the morgue. "Most likely there are power outages," Slavka said. After a little consultation, we decided to go through one of the emergency exits to the left wing. They decided to start the research from the roof, and decided to leave the basement for a snack. I walked along, lighting the way. Slavka followed. It didn't take long to climb to the roof. After 5 minutes, we have already inspected the territory from the roof. Yes, it looks much smaller from the outside. "That's right, Anton," Slavka said and lit a cigarette. Slava had barely finished smoking a cigarette when something strange happened. In the distance, from the side of the morgue, someone was running with huge leaps in the direction of the hospital. The light of the flashlight did not reach there, and it was impossible to understand who it was. The last thing we could see in the moonlight was that an unknown person ran into the wing next to us. "Who do you think it is?" I asked Slavka. "I have no idea, but I think we need to find out." Slavka smiled. "Come on, why do you need this? I've never seen him like this." "Anton, you saw him running, didn't you? He probably broke the world record. It's probably some intern who's scared of a dead man. Let's bring the guy to his senses." I We decided to start the search from the second floor. After 15 minutes of unsuccessful wandering around the building, Slavka suggested splitting up. I don't like all this. Already at that moment I felt uneasy, but Slava stood his ground. So, you go down to the first floor, in this wing, and I'll go to the next one and look at everything there. We'll meet here in half an hour. I went down to the first floor, but I didn't find anything there. I even looked into the basement. It was empty there too. Half an hour later, I was standing still. There was no warbler. Deathly silence. Suddenly there were some screams. Shot. More screams. 2 shots in a row. Then everything went quiet. I don't know how long I stood in a daze before I came to my senses, but I could swear that 2 people were screaming. One of them was Slavka, but the other was screaming. The other scream did not belong to a human, and then something happened that made me crazy. Through the window of the second floor, I saw something dragging Slavka along the street towards the morgue. I broke loose and ran across the field, through all these potholes into the city, crossing the bridge. The first thing I did was jump into the nearest entrance, broke into the first apartment I saw, asked to call. I have to leave everything as it is in the police department. The search began an hour later, especially since one of the employees was missing. The operatives combed everything upside down. The first thing they checked was the morgue. What they found there was nothing but a scene from a horror movie. There was a bloodbath in the morgue. All the bodies of the corpses were dismembered. Everything, without a single exception. They combed the whole hospital and the basement. Nothing. We found Slavka only the next day. The dead one, the mad watchman, was found next to a slit throat. Slavka's death was caused by a blunt force blow to the head. Since death occurred closer to dawn, it means that I could have saved him. Slavka, forgive me, my friend.